White brings his queen to the g8 square and checks the opponent king. And now Black's king is in check and he must get out of check. But as you can see, there is no black piece that can capture this white attacking queen. Also, Black doesn't have any piece that can come midway and can block this check. Also, Black's king is left with no safe squares where he can go and protect himself. As you see, so these three squares are controlled by the white king. And now, because the queen has given check to the black king, even its remaining squares are in control of this white queen. And because the black king is left with no safe options to get out of this check, the game is now checkmated. That means black has lost the game and white has won the game. And the symbol we use to write this checkmate move in chess notations is a hash sign. Clearly, when you want to do checkmate, you want to take away all the escape squares of the enemy king. And you can do that by checking the enemy king with one of your pieces. So here in this case, the white king is trapped in the corner. The white king cannot go to this square because this square is controlled by the black's dark square bishop. The white king cannot come to these squares either because these squares are controlled by the black king. And in the game, now it is black's turn to move. Can you see how black can checkmate the game? Well, black just needs to check this white king because the king is already running out of escape squares. And that he can do by getting his bishop to the d5 square, and now the game is checkmated because all of white's escape squares are controlled by the black army. Now let's look at this interesting example. Black appears to be very strong in this position because look at black's army. He has a queen, two bishops, a rook, a knight and 4 pawns, and white on the other hand just has a single rook with him. And a lot of beginners might have given up in this position thinking that it's a lost position for white. But if you carefully look at the board, white can checkmate black's game in just one move. Can you find that move? Well, white can bring his rook to the f8 square and can easily checkmate the black king. So rook f8 would lead to checkmate. So with this example, we learn that we should never give up in the chess game even if we are in the seemingly lost position. You may never know what the game holds for us. Let's look at one more example. In this example, it is black's turn to move. And can you find a way to checkmate white king? Well, the key to find the right move is to look at the opponent king and find ways of checking that king. So one way to check this king is by bringing your knight to the d3 square. So when the knight comes on d3 and checks the white king, the game would be checkmated. In the game of chess, you never capture a king. If the game gets checkmated, you just let the king stay on the board. Number 2, shake hands with your opponent and say good game or well played. Number 3, arrange all the chess pieces back on the board. Let's try out solving some checkmate puzzles. I'll give you 5 seconds to think to solve each puzzle, but in case you need more time, feel free to pause the video. So here is your first puzzle. How can black checkmate the white king? So black can get his queen on the g4 square and checkmate the white king. Let's go to puzzle number 2. In the game, black is threatening to checkmate the white king by capturing the white's rook on the e1 square. The king will not have any escape squares post that. But thankfully in the game, it is white's turn. So can you see a way of checkmating the black king with one of the white pieces? Notice that the black king cannot come on these two squares as both of these squares are being controlled by the white's rook. So all black needs to do is look for a move which will check this enemy king. And that move is capturing this knight with the bishop. So white will capture this knight with his bishop and it will checkmate the game. Loved this example? Then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you're really interested in improving your game, then I suggest you to check out the various membership programs that I have for you. And now we'll look at the third puzzle. Here, it is white's turn in the game and you have to tell me how can white checkmate this game. Well, again, we will look at the black king. Look how trapped he feels here because these squares are being controlled by the white bishop. These two squares are already occupied by his own army pawns. So all you have to do is control these remaining two squares by checking the black king. And how can white do that? Well, white can capture this bishop by his pawn and promote it into a queen, or he can capture this bishop and promote it into a rook and checkmate the game. That was fun, right? So now, here is the question of the day for you. In the game, it is black's turn and you got to tell me in the comments box that how can black checkmate the white king. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing.